Last major health facility in northern Gaza out of service. South Korea votes to impeach acting President Han Duck-soo. Good afternoon and Salam Malaysia Madani. This is World Today. I'm Jessica Lee. An Israeli military operation targeting Hamas near the Kamal Adwan hospital has put the last major health facility in northern Gaza out of service. The World Health Organization said initial reports indicated that some key departments were severely burnt and destroyed during the raid. The WHO said 60 health workers and 25 patients in critical condition, including those on ventilators, reportedly remain in the hospital. The UN Health Agency said the patients in moderate to severe condition were forced to evacuate to the destroyed and non-functional Indonesian hospital, adding that it was deeply concerned for their safety. The WHO who also reiterated its call for a ceasefire. It noted that the raid on Kamal Adwan hospital came after escalating restrictions on access for the WHO and partners and repeated attacks on or near the facility since early October. The agency stressed that such hostilities and the raids are undoing all its efforts and support to keep the facility functional. The systematic dismantling of the health system in Gaza is a death sentence for tens of thousands of Palestinians in need of health care. Hamas urged the United Nations to set up an investigation committee to examine the scale of crime being committed in northern Gaza. Now, after Israeli airstrikes struck multiple targets linked to the Iran-aligned Houthi group in Yemen, the top UN aid official, Julian Harness, said that Sana'a Airport is civilian infrastructure used by international aid workers to access the north of Yemen. Now, Harness also warned that if the airport is disabled, it will paralyze humanitarian operations in Yemen.
But I think the bigger issue is parties to the conflict have an obligation to ensure that they are not striking a civilian target or not striking civilians. The obligation is on them, not on us. We don't need to prove we're civilians. They need to prove that they are hitting a military target. Sana'a Airport has not been a military target since 2016.
According to the United Nations, more than half of Yemen's population, some 18 million people, need humanitarian assistance. Harness told reporters that the number is expected to rise to 19 million next year due to worsening economic conditions in the country. He also said airstrikes on Hodeidah port were particularly concerning as the facility is absolutely vital considering Yemen imports about 80% of its foodstuffs. On a related note, Yemen's authorities said that flights have resumed at Sana'a International Airport a day after Israeli strikes targeted the facility. Now, a plane from Yemenia Airways was seen taking off along with others on the tarmac, while shattered glass and debris were visible throughout the airport. According to Yemen's Deputy Minister of Transport and head of the Civil Aviation and Meteorology Authority, Yahya Al-Sayani, the strikes resulted in 4 casualties and nearly 20 injuries, including workers and travellers. The airport tower had been directly hit, in addition to the departure lounge and airport navigation equipment. The strikes left the top of the control tower a bombed-out shell, and large windows in the airport building were shattered, with glass littering the ground. The World Health Organization Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus was at the airport waiting to depart when the aerial bombardment took place and said that a member of his plane's crew was injured. The United Nations Security Council has given the green light to a new African Union force in Somalia that is meant to take on the Al-Shabaab group, with the soldiers due to deploy in January. The resolution was adopted by 14 of the Council's 15 member states, while the United States abstained due to reservations about funding. It provides for the replacement of the African Union Transition Mission in Somalia, whose mandate ends on the 31st of December, by the African Union Support and Stabilization Mission in Somalia. Somalia is one of the world's poorest countries, enduring decades of civil war and frequent climate disasters. Representatives from Somalia and its western neighbor, Ethiopia, were invited to participate in the Council's meeting, though they were not allowed to vote. The text adopted by the UN Security Council provides for the possibility of using a mechanism that it created last year, under which an African force deployed with the green light of the United Nations can be up to 75% financed by the UN. Elsewhere, the Azerbaijan Airlines plane that crashed in Kazakhstan this week was believed to have suffered physical external interference. The airline and Azerbaijan's transport ministry cited preliminary results of an investigation, adding to speculation the plane was hit by a Russian air defense system. The jet crashed near the Kazakh city of Aktau on Wednesday, killing 38 of the 67 people on board after attempting to land at its destination in the Russian city of Grozny and then diverting far off course across the Caspian Sea. The statements from Azerbaijan citing the investigation into the incident suggest Baku believes the plane was hit mid-air. Azerbaijan Airlines said it has suspended flights to 10 Russian airports and that preliminary results suggest that the crash was due to physical and technical external interference. Still ahead, Vietnam court sentences 27 to death for drug trafficking. South Korea's parliament has impeached acting President Han Duck-soo following his decision not to appoint 3 justices to the Constitutional Court bench, which is currently reviewing President Yoon Suk-yeol's impeachment case. The impeachment of Prime Minister Han, who has been acting president since Yoon was impeached on the 14th of December for declaring martial law on the 3rd of December, has thrown South Korea's once vibrant democratic success story into uncharted territory. Now, the motion led by opposition parties passed with 192 of the 300 votes amid rowdy scenes by ruling People Power Party members who surrounded the speaker's podium while chanting that the vote was invalid and that Parliament had committed tyranny. Until just before voting began, it was unclear how many votes were needed to impeach Han as acting leader. The threshold for a prime minister is a simple majority, while a 2/3 majority is needed for a president. Now, Han said he accepted the outcome of the vote and he would await the decision of the Constitutional Court to review the impeachment motion. In a related development, Finance Minister Choi Sang-mok has become South Korea's second acting president in 2 weeks as lawmakers voted to impeach the current acting leader. Now, minutes after Han was impeached by Parliament, Choi vowed an all-out effort to stabilize state affairs and overcome the current crisis. He urged the government to step up vigilance, raising the possibility that the North could take advantage of its political situation to carry out acts of provocation. Choi, a veteran economic technocrat who has served for more than 30 years at the Finance Ministry, takes on an unprecedented role as successor to an impeached acting leader. The unexpected imposition of martial law and the ensuing political upheaval sent shock waves through Asia's 4th largest economy and drew concerns from allies in the United States and Europe. Pakistan's military spokesperson, Lieutenant General Ahmad Sharif Chowdhury, has warned that those behind the violent protest on 9th of May will face justice, pledging that the accountability process will continue until all planners are held fully accountable.
हाल ही में जब ये 7 रुकनी बेंच ने इसके ऊपर फैसला दिया तो उसकी रोशनी में सजाएं सुनाने का अमल अब मुकम्मल किया जा चुका है और इसके अंदर मरवजा कानून के तहत सबूत और शवाहिद के मुताबिक और तमाम कानूनी तकाज़ों को पूरा करके वो तमाम लोग जो 9 मई की हंगामा आराई में मुलव्वस थे और जिनको कानून के मुताबिक मिलिट्री कस्टडी में रेफर किया गया था, उनको सजाएं देने का अमल मुकम्मल हो चुका है और इस फैसले से ये बड़ा वाज़ेह पैगाम जाता है कि इस तरह के मामलात की कोई गुंजाइश नहीं है और मुस्तकबिल में भी कोई इस तरह के मामलात में अगर इन्वॉल्व होगा तो उसको आइन और कानून के मुताबिक बासूरत सजा मिलेगी।
A Pakistani military court sentenced 60 civilians to jail time ranging from 2 to 10 years in connection with attacks on military facilities following the arrest of former Prime Minister Imran Khan last year. Now, those sentenced include a relative of Khan as well as 2 retired military officers. Days earlier, 25 others were sentenced on the same charges. Khan's arrest in May 2023 sparked countrywide protests that saw his supporters attack and ransack military installations in an unprecedented backlash against Pakistan's powerful army generals. Mozambique's capital, Maputo, is limping back to normal. But residents are still fearful because of widespread looting and vandalism sparked by confirmation that the ruling party won contested elections. Food, fuel and medicine are running low for the city's inhabitants, while the daring escape of more than 1,000 inmates from a maximum security prison is fueling wild rumors and prompted the creation of neighborhood patrols. The residents said that so far there have been no verified reports of attacks by the escaped inmates, but the fact that the police chief announced that detainees could visit houses has fueled concern. Now, on the streets of Maputo, makeshift barricades were slowly being dismantled while the army was clearing some roads. However, residents were cautiously leaving their homes to look for basic necessities. Mozambique's main opposition leader, Venancio Mondlane, has announced the 9th of October election results as rigged. On Monday, the country's highest court confirmed victory for the ruling Frelimo party, which has been in power for half a century. That set off riots that left more than 125 dead over several days. A court in Vietnam has sentenced 27 people to death after finding them guilty of trafficking more than 600 kilograms of narcotics, including heroin, ketamine, and methamphetamine. Gang leader and notorious female crime boss Vu Huang An, alias Ong Ha, was among those condemned to death. The 35-member ring smuggled 626 kilograms of drugs from Cambodia into Vietnam between March 2018 and November 2022. Now, the 8 members not sentenced to death were given jail terms ranging from 20 years to life after a 4-day trial in Ho Chi Minh City. The court said the case involved a particularly serious cross-border drug trafficking operation over a long period of time. To ensure secrecy in their operations, the network used messaging app Signal and phone numbers from the United States or Cambodia to communicate about the drug transactions. Investigators have determined that the total amount of money involved in the network was around $54.8 million. The indictment said that from early 2020 onwards, Ong transferred up to $20,000 per trip to traffickers who transported the drugs concealed in cars or engine blocks. Now, it was reported that a total of 129 engine blocks were smuggled successfully from Cambodia to Vietnam. Kyrgyz President Sadir Japarov has inaugurated the construction of a new railway linking China, Kyrgyzstan and Uzbekistan, aimed at opening up the region as a supply route to Europe. Covering a distance of almost 523 kilometers, the strategically important railway will run west from the Chinese city of Kashgar in the northwestern Xinjiang region through the Kyrgyz border city of Jalalabad to Andijan in Uzbekistan. Now, the project, which Kyrgyz authorities estimate would cost up to $8 billion, includes the construction of railways in mountainous areas and in areas of permafrost where the ground never fully thaws. Now, the section in China will be around 155 kilometers, while the Kyrgyz section will be the longest at 305 kilometers, and the Uzbek section will be 63 kilometers. The project had been under discussion for 2 decades, but was finalized in June when the leaders of China, Kyrgyzstan, and Uzbekistan signed an intergovernmental agreement. Kyrgyz Railways said it could take about 6 years to build, with the construction taking place in a mountainous area with a harsh climate and high seismic activity. Next up in sports, Arsenal climbed to second spot with win over Ipswich. And we begin our sports segment with football. Arsenal moved up to second place in the Premier League and within 6 points of Liverpool after a largely trouble-free 1-0 win at home to struggling Ipswich Town in North London. The match started slowly as Arsenal kept the ball effortlessly early on, though it was mostly in non-threatening areas until Leandro Trossard burst to the byline after 23 minutes and fired the ball across for Kai Havertz to prod in. Arsenal forward Gabriel Jesus thought he had added to his recent run of goals later in the half when he poked the ball through the Ipswich keeper Ariane Murch's legs from an unfathomably tight angle, but it was ruled out for offside. The home side created a handful of good chances in the final 20 minutes as well, with captain Martin Odegaard, Havertz and Trossard all getting shots in. But if Arsenal were to keep up their challenge on Liverpool, they will need to demonstrate more clinical finishing. Now, the win lifted Arsenal to 36 points behind Liverpool, who have 42 points and a game in hand. Now, it also meant the Gunners leapfrogged both London rivals Chelsea, who have 35 points, and one of the season's surprise packages, Nottingham Forest, fourth on 34 points. Brazil and Real Madrid forward Vinicius Jr. was star of the night as he received the Best Men's Player award at the Dubai Globe Soccer Awards. On a star-studded evening in Palm Jumeirah, the biggest stars in the world of football assembled in the UAE as Vinicius capped a memorable year with another major award. The Brazilian had earlier in the month won the FIFA Best Men's Player of the Year award. The recognition went some way in making up for Vinicius missing out on the Ballon d'Or, which went to Manchester City midfielder Rodri. Vinicius enjoyed a memorable year as he scored 24 goals and had 11 assists in 39 matches across all competitions. Apart from leading Real to the La Liga and Champions League double, Vinicius was also the top scorer for the Champions League winners with 6 goals in the competition. Now, other top players were also recognized for their performances this year. Portugal and Al Nassr star Cristiano Ronaldo was recognized for being the all-time top scorer with 916 goals. He was also named the best Middle East player of 2024. England and Real Madrid star Jude Bellingham received the Best Midfielder and Maradona award, while Barcelona's young superstar Lamine Yamal won the Best Emerging Player award. There was more recognition for Real Madrid as Carlo Ancelotti was named the Coach of the Year. And moving on to tennis, Elena Rybakina guided Kazakhstan to a 2-1 victory against Spain in her United Cup debut at the RAC Arena in Perth, Australia. Now, Kazakhstan can qualify for the quarterfinals of the 18-nation mixed teams event by beating Greece in their second Group C match on Monday. World number 6 defeated Jessica Buzaz-Monero 6-2, 6-3 in the singles and then combined with Alexander Shevchenko to clinch the deciding mixed doubles. The former world number 10 Pablo Carreno Busta swept aside Shevchenko 6-2, 6-1 in little over an hour to put Spain ahead before Rybakina, playing her first match since hiring Goran Ivanisevic as coach for the season, pulled Kazakhstan level. The 25-year-old raced to a 4-love lead before Buzaz-Monero could put up some sort of resistance, winning the next 2 games. Rybakina soon asserted herself again and broke her opponent and loved to take the opening set. The Kazakh fired a series of backhand winners for a similar 4-2 lead in the second set, and Buzaz-Monero held 3 break points at 5-3 before Rybakina's power game prevailed. She was soon back on court alongside Shevchenko to score a 7-6, 6-7, 10-7 win against Yvonne Cavell-Reimers and Carreno Busta. Coming up in our Offbeat segment, architectural remains demonstrate cultural exchanges. A total of 45,000 lights illuminate the nativity scene in front of Josef Glogger's house in a Swabian village near Gwensberg in Germany. For more than 20 years, the illuminated nativity figures have been on display every day from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. local time from the beginning of December to mid-January. It takes the Christmas house owner 6 weeks to set up all the illuminated figures with their fairy lights and cables. However, the effort is worth it for him because the proceeds from the sale of drinks and the donations from his visitors go to a good cause.
Seit wir das Weihnachtshaus mit meiner Frau ins Leben gerufen haben, sammeln wir Spenden für den guten Zweck, für Kinderhospiz und so weiter. Es sind mittlerweile über 30.000 Euro zusammengekommen, wo wir an Institutionen weitergegeben haben. Also die letzten 3 Jahre, natürlich ist es so, meine Frau ist an Leukämie erkrankt gewesen und seit 3 Jahren geht der Erlös an die Leukämie und Stammzellenforschung an die Uniklinik in Ulm.
The decoration now comprises 30 figures and new ones are being added every year, which Glogger builds himself in his garage. He has also come up with another special feature for his visitors whereby the figures are always rearranged according to the course of a certain story. A joint archaeological team from China and Uzbekistan has uncovered large-scale architectural remains at the renowned Mengchaktepe site in Uzbekistan, with new discoveries further highlighting the cultural exchanges between the East and the West along the ancient Silk Road. Located on the north bank of the Sir-Darya River and situated in the Fergana Basin, the Mengchaktepe site has been referred to as a living fossil of the Silk Road. The site has been the subject of archaeological projects carried out by the Chinese Academy of Social Sciences and the Institute of Archaeology of the Academy of Sciences of Uzbekistan since 2012. The team has discovered 7 tombs and 2 other buildings, along with a wealth of artifacts including silk fragments, leather products, bronze mirrors, round square-holed coins, and beads over the past years of archaeological efforts. Now, inside the tombs, they discovered silk and Han Dynasty bronze mirror from China in the east. They also found the Zoroastrianism-style architectures from the west on the tombs. Now, these findings fully demonstrate that the site located in a region where Eastern and Western cultures have exchanged and integrated. Russian scientists showed off the remarkably well-preserved remains of a baby mammoth found in the permafrost-covered region of Yakutia. The 50,000-year-old female mammoth has been nicknamed Yana after the river in whose basin it was discovered this summer. According to experts, Yana is the best preserved mammoth carcass in the world and is one of only 7 whole remains ever found. The studies will now be carried out to work out her exact age at death.
То есть мы знаем уже геологический возраст этой находки. Он оказался запредельным для радиоуглеродного анализа. Это за 50 тысяч лет. Но для того, чтобы подтвердить этот возраст геологически, мы будем проводить перекрестное датирование. Предварительно биологический возраст, то есть индивидуальный возраст находки, год, может быть, чуть старше, но более точно и детально вот этот момент будет изучен во время комплексных исследований.
The remains weigh 180 kilograms and are 120 centimeters tall and 200 centimeters long. The carcass was dug up near the Batagaika research station, where the remains of other prehistoric animals had also been found. Ikuti is a remote region bordering the Arctic Ocean. Its permafrost acts like a giant freezer which preserves the remains of prehistoric animals. Ava and Luna, 2 rare 3-year-old golden tigers, have stolen the spotlight at the Chiang Mai Night Safari with their dazzling golden coats and irresistibly cute kitten-like features, captivating the hearts of visitors from around the world. Now, born in captivity, twin sisters Ava and Luna made their debut at the zoo in June, and their introduction to the public via social media sparked a frenzy of excitement, with thousands of fans liking and sharing pictures and videos of the adorable duo. The sisters' addition to the Tiger Show at the zoo has also sent ticket sales soaring, with the 500-seat stadium selling out for every performance 4 days a week as the Golden Tigers wow the crowd with their agility and obedience, walking through the trainer's legs and tubes with ease and precision. According to Thai National Park's website, the golden tabby is a color variation of the Bengal tigers and is caused by recessive genes. They are described as having thicker than usual light gold fur, pale legs, and faint orange stripes. The golden tiger population has dwindled to a critically low level, with only a handful of individuals remaining in the world. The majority of these rare animals are being cared for in controlled environments. And that wraps up World Today. In our top story, last major health facility in northern Gaza out of service. On a personal note, this is my final read. It has been a wonderful 35 and a half years here in RTM. A record employment indeed for me and perhaps any Malaysian female TV news presenter to date. Now, to the news team, from editorial to visuals, voiceovers, production, studio crew, makeup and wardrobe, terima kasih for working alongside me all these years. Shout out as well to my studio director and producer for the day, for hosting my family who are here in the control room to watch me for the very last time. And not forgetting to all the viewers, especially on TV2, who have been watching and supporting me since 1989. Thank you very much. It has been such a privilege. Take care, everyone. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. I'm Jessica Lee, signing off. Goodbye.